Hello, I'm Jackson Haney from Insane Internet Wrestling, and first and foremost, I'd like to say WWE is a stupid company. Most of you would probably agree, but you want to know my reasoning. Here's my reasoning. They release wrestlers who have all the talents in the world, but they release them because they simply don't have anything to do for them, and that is their fault. It's not the wrestler's fault. They just don't have anything to do because they're not given anything to do. I digress. But anyway, most wrestling fans should know that WWE has gotten into the habit of releasing a bunch of wrestlers after WrestleMania is over. That whole tradition, or whatever you want to call it, started in 2020, remember that, in the event known as Black Wednesday, when wrestlers such as Rusev and Kurt Angle were released from their contracts for budgetary reasons. But this year, it's more of the same, really. Earlier this year, wrestlers such as Ruby Riott, Aleister Black, and Braun Strowman were released from the company, and just this week, wrestlers such as Tony Nese, Arya Daivari, the Singh brothers, and many more were released. The two biggest names from today's releases, in my opinion, were Tyler Breeze and Fandango. Not even 5 years ago, Breezango was one of the most prominent tag teams in the SmackDown tag team division. Remember when SmackDown had an actual tag team division? The Fashion Files were some of the funniest wrestling skits that I had ever seen, and I genuinely mean that. If you want to point fingers at someone, point them at WWE. Now, I'm not trying to trash WWE. I will still watch it and partake in it as a wrestling fan, but you gotta admit that there's some things wrong in this picture here. Because WWE has the best roster in the entire world. Yes, they do. All of you AEW fans, don't come at me. You know it's true. You just won't admit it because half of the roster doesn't get any TV time. Whereas in AEW, there are actual tag teams. There are better matches in the women's division. The women's division is slightly taken more seriously. There's not any stupid storylines involving wrestlers dressing up as superheroes and scary clown monsters, though Abaddon is pretty close, I gotta admit. That's one thing that AEW will always do better than WWE, and that is not treat its audience like children. Because the general consensus, as of right now, is WWE is a baby show for babies, because they're catering towards a more childish audience. They're looking to get support of the younger kids. Why do you think Roman Reigns and John Cena have been the faces of the company for the past decade plus? Whereas AEW is exceptionally more violent because it has wrestlers such as Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, heck, Cody, who's known for cussing up a storm on the indies, and especially in Japan. They are all high-profile figures within AEW, and they will not shut up no matter what the topic is, violent or otherwise, and that's why AEW has a TV-14 rating. It's for a more mature audience, whereas WWE wants all of these sponsors, so they make their show family-friendly in order to get these sponsors. And because their show is family-friendly, every single wrestler has a generic gimmick. Most of them anyway. Whether it be generic friendly babyface or generic crude heel. For example, Ricochet and Baron Corbin. Both of those guys have generic gimmicks. Ricochet on the indies was one of the most charismatic guys and one of the most athletic guys I had ever seen. It's the reason he's one of my favorite wrestlers to this day. The flippy stuff he does is phenomenal. I love that style of wrestling. If you don't, shame. Baron Corbin, as much as I hate the guy with everything in my being, I have to admit he is a very talented heel and knows how to work a crowd. But since the days that he went bald, you remember that, 2018, it's all gone downhill for him because he's just becoming generic, you people are bad because you are from this city kind of heel. And Ricochet is just I'm just gonna do my best and try to get the support of the people. No one wants to see that. No one wants to see two generic guys that they had seen 50 different ways in 50 different people. Again, that's a thing AEW does better than WWE. It has characters. Chris Jericho in AEW, as much as I hate to say it, is a lot better than his later years in WWE. Orange Cassidy, Pac, Hangman Page, the Young Bucks. All of these guys are exceptionally better characters than almost anything WWE has to offer. That's why NXT is great. NXT is the best of the indies and the best of WWE because it combines the two things into one gigantic sports entertainment baby, and it's brilliant. And it's why many people are calling for Triple H to be head of WWE because he's been running NXT since its creation, and he knows what wrestling fans really want. If you came for news and not me going on and on and on about how WWE is a baby show for babies, I'm sorry. I might make a series out of me just going on rants. I might, who knows. But anyway, yes, a bunch of releases happened this year and last year, but especially today. Bad day for wrestling fans, especially WWE fans. But if these guys have 30-day no-compete clauses and they expire at some point in the next month, expect them to show up somewhere. Some of them, at least. I'm Jackson Haney from Insane Internet Wrestling, and I will see you soon.